Peace family, Conjure Queen here. And I wanted to talk a little bit about some issues that newbie spiritualists been having. A lot of people that's new in the spiritual community or considered baby witches or baby brujas, they have a lot of questions and they email me, and I want to address some of these questions and concerns, right? So first thing that I wanted to say is a lot of people ask, what is the first thing that you should start on when you get on the spiritual journey? Which is an excellent question. And one thing that I want to say to respond to that question is I want you to go towards whatever it is that you feel called to. Everybody's spiritual journey is different. Some people get called to crystals, some people get called to herbs, some people get called to aromatherapy, some people get called to channeling, some people get called to tarot, some people get called to numerology, to astrology. It's so many different things under a huge umbrella, and honestly, it really depends on you, right? When we all woke up, when we first came into consciousness, we have to first think like, what was it that woke us up? For me, it was the Illuminati videos, back when Rihanna came out with that video umbrella, and people were talking about like she was into some type of like secret organization or something. And so like I started doing research and I started asking questions, and I'm like, what's all this Illuminati stuff? And then next thing you know, they're talking about symbolisms and the Eye of Horus and this witchcraft. And so I looked deeper into these symbolisms and I found out that the evil eye wasn't actually evil, but it was an amulet or a talisman to protect you. Hence why I got this behind me, right? The all-seeing eye is known to be the eye of God, or to protect you, or something divine force looking over you, right? Reflecting back evil energy, evil eye glanced at you. But some way, somehow it got twisted around. But the point of me bringing that up is my journey more so like started going down that rabbit hole when I was looking into Illuminati videos. So to you, some people might enjoy decoding. Maybe you might need to look into symbolisms or signs. But this is the thing, right? A lot of people, when they step into this journey, the first thing that they want to do is learn like advanced level rituals and summonings and evocations. And we are kind of in a microwave mentality where people want things instantly and they don't want to study. They don't want to put in the work. They don't want to put in certain exercises. I'm telling you right now, if you're trying to work with certain deities or certain energies, they're not going to fuck with you because you haven't done the ground foundation work yet. And I've said this in previous videos that a lot of the times they have an old saying that the spirits only help those who help themselves. And so if you haven't even took time out to do your healing, to do your shadow work, to do research on self-knowledge, to know about yourself, basically your natal chart, right? Understanding you and why you came here, then why should some deity take time out of whatever they doing and come and help you, right? And so this is the thing too, is like the process is this. First you learn yourself, then you start to understand your ancestors and you work with them. And then that opens up the doorways towards other spirits that you may want to work with. Because the spirits will see you taking good care of yourself and your ancestors, and they want to be a part of that love too, right? So this is the thing, right? I'm not telling anybody how they should do it, but I'm only advising or suggesting what worked for me. And there were certain things that I did that didn't work for me. And I speak about all of these things, the mistakes that I made. And you're gonna make mistakes in this journey. Like, this is a part of life. Like, who hasn't made any mistake in life, right? We've all screwed up sometimes. But what do? We just give up and say, I messed up. This ain't for me. I'm gonna drop it. Or if you really have the passion for this lifestyle and you really want to gain enlightenment and get out of this matrix in 3D, then you're going to have to learn patience. That's one thing everybody needs to know, is this lifestyle here, you will learn patience. You will be humbled. And if you have an ego problem, best to believe that your ego is going to get shut down. Okay? If you want to learn about magic, if you want to learn about alchemy, right? Spiritual technology, one thing that I would advise that you do is learn about protection. Learn about cleansing yourself. So many people are out here doing readings and channelings and opening up portals, and they don't even know how to, close portals, send entities back. And then on top of that, they don't really know the basics of like grounding and protecting and cleansing themselves properly. Hence why they're having issues in their practices, right? So I tell people all the time, I have tons of free videos on YouTube talking about tips and stuff like that way back since 2015. You feel me? Telling you how to do these things. Baths, rituals, candles, mantras, prayers, you name it. Giving it for the free. And I also have private classes that I teach even more stuff I don't put on my YouTube platform. When people start to tap into the magical world, magical things will happen around you, okay? Things that science can explain. Now, this is not for the faint of heart. And I always tell people, like, you have people who talk about they was doing readings and they was into spirituality. And then, they started having dreams about demons, or they started seeing entities in the corner of their eye, or spiritual things would happen. They was getting attacked. You gotta realize that when you step in this path, you automatically assume a certain role, right? You opening up doors. So when you unlock a certain spiritual light inside of you, or an aura, that aura is going to shine bright on different dimensions. And that means that other dimensional beings can see you. Some may want to help you. Some may try to sabotage what you're doing, especially if you're trying to do something to improve yourself or improve those around you, the world. There's just not human beings that's trying to keep the world in enslavement and mind control, but there are entities that are controlling these beings that we think are in control, that are trying to keep humanity suppressed. So you think that these intelligent beings are not able to transcend between time, space, and different dimensions? And when you open up certain chakras and you talk about you want to awaken your third eye, but as soon as you see something, you scared. I get it. Yes, I was once scared too, but did I back out and say, nah, son, I'm not messing with this magical stuff. I just seen a demon in my room? Nah. Like, no, that's literally part of the initiation process. They trying to see if you a scaredy cat or not. Are you really about this life? Because if you're not, it's cool. Like, nobody's judging you. Everything is not for everybody. But I do want you to know that you will see some scary stuff. But there are certain mantras and things you can do to bulk up your spirit so you won't be so scared and these things won't torment you. Just like angels can come in our dreams, so can demons. They say this in the Bible, right? And the only reason why I reference the Bible is because I come from a Christian background. My family were Christians. I used to go to church. But that lifestyle didn't work for me. I don't think I could ever go back there. There's some people who do, and happy for them. But this video is more so for people that are talking about they want to elevate, they want to transcend, they want to heal, they want to help others, right? They want to become the best versions of themselves. You're going to have to go through the lake of fire. In alchemy, they say that you have to go through the fire to purge all of your impurities, no matter how painful that it may be, so that you can turn from a base metal, which is lead, into gold, which is the highest metal that you can attain to, which is enlightenment. So now that everything is speeding up, more people are waking up. I'm really happy about it. It can be trendy. Spirituality has become trendy because a lot of celebrities started doing it, right? Like Beyonce started doing stuff about like the Ifa, Yemaya, and Oshun and stuff like that, and her whole Lemonade album that came out a while back. And then all the black women started to want to get into spirituality, which was a beautiful thing. I thought it was dope. Feel me? And more other celebrities started talking about like sage and Florida water and meditations and African spirituality or Native American indigenous spirituality. And I think it's a great thing that more of us are waking up to our roots and we're realizing that we've been in a lie. But the thing is, there were certain things that were taught so that people can respect the ways, not just utilize it for their own selfish purposes. Magic doesn't solve all of your problems. It never was meant to be that way, right? Like, you have to try to fix your problems practically, and if things are not working out practically, then that's where magic comes in to help you, where you feel as though things are out of your control and you need to change things now. Magic can do miracles. So can the power of thought. There's some people that don't even need to light candles, and they just think something and it manifests. It's levels to this. But for the baby witches that are stepping into this path and they're like, you know what, I want to learn more about this, I will just tell you, research as much as possible. There are websites out here. That is one website called sacredtext.com. Excellent website. Got a whole bunch of free books up there, teach you about magic, metaphysics, the occult, spirituality, the left hand path, right hand path, everything you could think of for the free. Okay, books that's even out of print, books from like the 1800s, like old books that you can read. Now, that was a free gem right there, and I hope you guys wrote that down. Now, another thing that the baby witches need to understand is that stop Googling spells and copying these free spells online, because you are going to end up hurting yourself. The best spells that you can ever do is ones that you make up yourself. When you start to get more accustomed to magic, spirituality, you'll start to realize that when you meditate, certain ideas will come to you. Certain ideas will come into your mind where you'll be like, you know what, I feel like I need to take a bath and I need to add this herb, that herb, I'm gonna add a little bit of this over here. And then it's just kind of like learning how to cook, where you start playing with your own recipes until you finally master something. Like, all right, this is my baby right here. And you write that recipe down in a book, just like you have your cookbook. You keep that for yourself. You keep it in the family. That's your family recipe. That's your specific spell. You keep that and you look back on it so you can always revert back to that spell. You do what works for you. Don't do something somebody else told you to do, right? You can try new spells. You can look at spells online to get ideas, right? Get ideas and stuff like, oh, you know, let me just try this spell. I want to see how this works. Cool. But when it spell starts talking about like summoning these entities and speaking a different language to summon things, be kind of cautious with that. Also, be cautious of people running up in your DMs talking about their ancestors told them that you got a curse on you, or if their ancestors told them to do a reading for you. Because think about it, right? Out of all of the people they could have hit up, why would they come out of their way to hit you up and say that their ancestors told you? Why me? Why are you in my DMs for telling me your ancestors told you to come to me? Who are you? Right? Like, just be a little bit more discernful, and then ask yourself, what does this person get out of it? Right? Like, nothing in life is free. What exactly are you getting? So they may try to hook you in and be like, oh, I'll give you a free reading, don't worry about it. But the gag is, the reading is free, but then they'll scare you so much in the reading where they'll be like, oh my God, there's a curse on your family and you're going to have to give me $10,000 by next week to remove it, or somebody's going to die. Like, they'll really say something crazy like that, and you won't believe how many people fall for this, because people don't know better, right? So be careful of these charlatans. Be careful of certain teachers. There's a lot of false preachers out here, and people that's leading the masses into chaos and more confusion. So I always even tell y'all, I'll be like, listen, don't take what I say as fact. I always cross-reference and be like, look, this is the book I got it from. You can check out this website. This is some resources for you. Don't believe me, look it up yourself, right? Like, I'm not here to make you believe me. I'm here to give you information that I found myself, and if it resonates with you, great, look more into it. If not, then leave it alone. If it don't apply, let it fly. It was another point that I wanted to make too. When it comes to going to spiritual readers, make sure that you do a little research on this person before you just jump and get readings with them, because a lot of the times, not only you have to be wary of scammers and frauds, but you also have to be really careful of opening up yourself to people that you don't know. When you go into a reading, right, like what happens is in that moment when you sit down with a reader, whether it's on the phone or in person, you guys are connecting energetically. Once you admit to, hey, yes, I want you to read me, there is a contract or an agreement where you open yourself up spiritually for that person to look inside of your side of your spirit and your mind and find out what's going on with you. Now, do you feel safe opening up and being vulnerable to any old body? No, most people don't. Most people have boundaries and they're like, you know what, I'm not going to tell anybody my secrets. I'm not going to let anybody inside my mind, because your consciousness, your mind is your superpower. It's your greatest tool. So why open yourself up to anybody to have access to that? Because some readers are spiteful and they do the reverse spell or the boomerang spell, like I call it, where it's like you'll go to this reader, they'll probably do some root work for you, and then things might be going okay, and next thing you know, like your life's falling apart and you got to keep coming back for readings and you got to keep coming back for more root work because that person put an incantation or a spell on that person so that they can keep coming back. You'd be amazed. It happens a lot in the spiritual community. Be very cautious of these people out here. Okay? Now, love spells. See, I wasn't really going to talk about this, but I think I'm going to talk about it, right? Love spells, left hand path, curses. Let's just put all of them in the same group together, because these things are a huge taboo in the magical community. There's some people that say, you know what, when it comes to magic, you shouldn't curse, you shouldn't hex, you shouldn't do bad, you should only do magic for good, and you shouldn't use it for your own selfish needs. Some people believe you shouldn't do magic for money. You shouldn't do magic to attain a job. You shouldn't do magic to do anything that benefits you. You're supposed to only do it for other people. But I feel like that goes to each person, right? When we think of what's right and wrong, that's a human construct. Now, if somebody was to, let's use an example. We hear about this guy who, I don't know, like somebody shot somebody. And everybody's thinking, okay, yeah, you know what, you murdered that person, you killed them, you're a terrible person, you're a killer. But then what if I told you that man shot that other dude because he found out that that dude was molesting his daughter? Now, does it make it right? Was that justice? Or is it still bad because, you know, this man took another life? Was it worth it? So all of these different ethics comes into play. And the same thing with magic, right? If somebody finds out that, I don't know, somebody killed somebody in their family, or somebody's coming for them, or there was a murder and they couldn't find the murderer, or he walked easy, right? Like, let's say somebody murdered somebody's family member, they took him to court and the court just let this man run free. And we see that a lot in the media, right? Like people getting shot and cops and stuff walking away. So if somebody decides to curse this person because they feel like they didn't get the justice, the courts failed them, now they're going to God. Now they're going to spirit and saying, look, I've been wronged and I need justice here. I'm going to curse this person. Does that make it justified, or is it still not? Like curses and all of that stuff, it's a rocky road, but I will say this. If you decide that you want to play in mud, understand that you will get dirty. Okay? It's just like if you know that you're about to go out and fight, right? Like somebody pull up, tell you come outside, they want to fight. Or you know you're about to walk into something crazy. You got to be prepared to get some scratches along the way. Because same thing in magic, spiritual warfare. Don't start no fight not knowing that who this person walk with. You got to be prepared to receive some punches and some scratches too, because there's some people out here who just curse just for nothing, not knowing what this person walks with, what they know, who they are, who their ancestors are. So just a word of caution. I'm not going to say I'm against hexes, and I'm not going to say that, you know, you should be hexing everybody, but I would just say that before you start doing all of that stuff, give it a week and see if you're still mad about the situation. Sometimes people could do things when their emotions is like over the top, right? You want to hex somebody because they cheated on you, or you want to make this bitch pay at the job because she tried to get you fired, or like whatever you decide to do is your business. It's your magic, baby. Like, do you. But understand that karma is real. And karma don't mean that something bad going to happen if you do bad to somebody else. No, karma just means for every cause there is an effect. So if you're going to hex somebody, understand that there's a possibility you can hex the people around them. Okay? Because that might affect their grandma, their mama, their cousin, their baby. They might have an abortion. They might get into an accident. Their whole house might burn down and everybody dies in the house. Are you willing to live with that? Because there's lots of people who come to me and they tell me they made some mistakes and they did some magical spells and, they wish that they didn't do it because some things happened. So just be responsible when it comes to magic. Understand that with great power comes great responsibility. And if you are magically inclined, because there's some people who do have gifts, people who can be telepathic, people who are telekinetic, people who have the gift to see things beyond space and time. These things are real. And there's some people who need a little bit of assistance and they need to study and read up on things and train themselves to learn magic, right? Everybody has the ability to do magic. It might be a little bit easier or more difficult for others. But continue to study, continue to grow, continue to practice. Some people just study magic in theory. But if you want to be a magician or an alchemist, or you really want to be fully engulfed in this life, then you're going to have to study and practice, and you're going to make mistakes. That's why you keep a journal of everything that you do and your experiences and your dreams, so that way you know what works and what doesn't work. You are a scientist at the end of the day, right? This is a science and an art. Baby witches, people that's new to the spiritual journey, have discernment, study more, invest in this knowledge, right? If you got to invest in buying books or taking courses or getting mentorship on it, or if you want to just self-study, then invest in you. But you're going to have to take time out to do those things. It's late and I got to go. I got to go do my hair. I just took my braids out. That's why it's kind of wild right now. But anyway, I love you, family. Take care of yourself. Continue to study and grow and be protected out here. Until next time, Conjure Queen signing out. Peace.